Nice to meet you again, Joshua.
You want us to help Andrew White give up his guilt and get on with his life. Am I right?
We know you died fighting by his side. Is that why he feels guilty? Is this why you can't speak? Oh, I've been there. I'll do everything I can to help.
If help we can.
Only these two could talk to each other.
Joshua's not helping. He's scared Andrew's silent. Conversation over. There's a wall between these two, and we must knock it down.
I may be able to do that. Andrew failed to save his friend and blames himself for it.
Guilt is normal, but you must let it go.
I had claw marks on it.
None of this explains what binds the ghost here.
Heathens and Philistines, the lot.
A ghost damaged the sign. Hunter's roster. Flora Abbott should be back by now.
Unbelievable.
A ghost damaged the sign.
McCraith. At last, a head firmly planted on two broad shoulders.
What are you talking about?
The captain, sir. The best of us, a man of iron, beacon of light in the darkest of times. Well, he's lost his head.
I don't usually bring it up, but I was a soldier too.
Thought as much. Where'd you fight?
Well, first I fought my way across half the Highlands. Later I'd fight wherever my paymaster sent me. Bavaria, Bohemia, Austria.
What's your war story then? We all have one.
In a tavern in Paris, with three of my comrades, a Turkman stood us drinks and offered us work, fighting for the Ottomans against the Viennese, and the Poles, the Prussians, and whoever else. And the pay was good. A villa each in Cyprus and slaves all of our own. I said I'd not have slaves and I'd not turn my coat. "I will," said my friend Lucas. "But I'll free the slaves." Mark shook his hand and wished him well. 9 months later, my band ambushed a Turkish emissary on escort to Venice. I found Lucas by the side of the road. I buried him where he fell.
Well, probably wasn't you that shot him, was it? Hard to know, I suppose. But you know what never leaves? The smell. That sickening, coppery vapour rising as a man's life pulls beneath him. For all those brave young boys we send off in search of glory, that stink is their rude awakening.
Easier to die with than live with, perhaps.
Perhaps. Perhaps not. But come. Blood soaks away. Let's not dwell upon the past, and men long gone.
You're not like this, but we must speak of Joshua.
Leave it be. In the past, where it belongs.
Your past is very much present. Your friend Joshua has a message for you.
He wants to take revenge. I know it.
You're no wrong. He wants to give you freedom. He never blamed you. You blamed yourself.
Why would he not seek revenge? He's due it.
He doesn't see it that way.
I shot him. I was trying to save him and I shot him.
Hold on. How did this happen?
We were skirmishing in the forest. 2 Indian fellas bore down on Joshua. Dropped one, but the other had him cold. I was 20 yards away. I raised my musket, pulled the trigger. Bullet went straight through his skull.
You took the medal though, didn't you?
I can't look at it. Bastard and thin has Josh's face on it. I don't deserve no pewter medal. I don't deserve nothing at all. I don't deserve to live. I don't want to live. I want to die. Please. Please. Put me out of my misery.
I am duty-bound to protect the living from the dead. Sometimes too from themselves. You can't see it now, but you can learn to live with this. Talk about it. Accept it. You'll come to the point where it stops defining your life and you can set about living in the time you have left.
No. You survived. Now you must live.
Joshua? Is that you? It cannot be. I saw you dead.
It is, old friend. I've tried for the longest time to speak to you, but your guilt took my voice. You must live in peace.
I have done the right. I shot you. I was sure my aim was good, but it was not. I shot you.
It was an accident, Andrew. You tried to save me. You failed, but you may make amends. Until you give yourself peace, I cannot have mine. Save me, Andrew, save me. Give yourself peace and save me.
Joshua, you have spoken. Andrew, you've heard. It's time to end the story.
Joshua Gouge, you've lingered in silence for too long. You can go.
I can. Thank you, Banishers. Thank you, Andrew.
Time to say goodbye, boys.
I'm sorry, my friend. I've carried the weight of your death as far as I can.
The debt, if any, is paid. Live your life.
Farewell, Joshua. You've done your duty and more.
Farewell, old friend.
Farewell.
I'm good for nothing after that. Thanks for your help. I'll not forget it.
join in too? shelter, if you need a fire to warm you up. Ah, the cabin from Helen's drawings.
Did you feel that?
It's close.
This is the place. Leopold. Same gravestone as appears in her drawings.
What you doing here? I had a feeling we'd be crossing paths again. If Pennington sent you, you may run along. I've nothing to say to any of you.
I'm curious. How did you escape without being noticed?
I know Fort Jericho better than anyone. It has many ins and outs. If Pennington hadn't had his head up his own arse, he'd have known not to put me in those cells.
That's what I said.
Did you have help?
I still have friends in the fort, and if you think I'm going to tell you more than that, then you really are mistaken about my character.
You weren't easy to find. Why here in particular?
I was with child when the first plague came. I gave birth surrounded by the dead and dying. My son never had a chance. I wished to bury him away from the mines, away from the garrison. Somewhere his and his alone. I brought him here. I left him here. And I nearly did not make it back.
Oh, it's peaceful here. I can see why you'd come back.
I came to say goodbye. One last time.
Sebastian's husk vanished. It must have been hard to lose him all over again. How are you bedding up?
My days are quiet. Some are better than others. At times, I am grateful for the memories. At others, they feel like fingers clamped upon my throat. I'm still learning to live around my grief.
I wish I could tell you that time heals all, but I'm still learning too. Maybe it doesn't.
One day, it will be safe to remember. In this, I trust. Count your blessings in the moment, for both are fleeting.
What are you doing up here?
Did Pennington send you? Yes or no?
Aye, he sent me. He thinks you plot against him.
Let him. Let him imagine me lurking in the dark, waiting for him to turn his back. Let him live in his delusion.
I don't think he needs you for that.
If it's not me, it'll be someone else. A man in that state needs an enemy, real or imagined. I took that role. I hereby resign. I am done with Pennington, Fort Jericho, and all in it.
What's the plan? You can't mean to stay here forever.
I could. But no. When I'm ready, and the road is open, I'll leave for Boston and begin anew. For most of my life, death has walked with me. But to see how you Banishers walk proud beside it, well, it's as if you dance along the road with death. That leads me to wonder. Perhaps it's time I embraced my gift and put it to good use. Perhaps I too may dance along with death.
Have you always been sensitive to the invisible?
I suppose I have. As a child, we'd play secret games in which we'd summon spirits, as you do. For me, though, sometimes they came. I remember, for weeks after my grandmother passed, I'd see her sitting at the foot of my bed. My father ascribed it to a wild imagination. He would not indulge it.
You weren't imagining it. You have talent. Match it to your prowess in the fight, and you'd make a fine banisher.
I was hoping to find someone to guide me on that path.
It's a noble calling. You'll be helping the living to live, and the dead to depart.
That sounds like a purpose. I need a purpose.
Be warned, child's play it is not. There's a lot more to it than clubbing spectres.
Show me. Show me a real foe with a real banisher fight. Teach me.
I'd happily be your teacher, but recent events mean I no longer qualify. Looks like you got yourself a new apprentice, Red.
All right, I'll step up. Till you find someone better, mind. Let's show Helen how banishers fight.
First of all, keep in mind that fighting spectres is rarely easy. They can be tricky.
Caution is always advised, but you're in good hands.
I know a cave where we might find a fight. Follow me. Antea, how did you become a banisher?
My mother was a healer. She had the gift. Taught me all she knew. But I was different. I had a gift for ghosts. At 15, I set off to develop it. I knew no one, and had nothing. But my teachers saw my yearning for knowledge and took me on. And here I am.
Quite the adventure. Over here. This is the place.
Good instincts. This cave is badly stained.
Time to dig.
That's almost it.
We use runes and words of power to make spirits manifest.
Do you pluck them from thin air with your magic rings?
It's more that we will them to come to us. The rings help channel the power.
My voice commands you! Unveil!
With us. They brought more friends.
Ready and waiting. Ready and waiting.
Fine work. Both of you.
And that's how a fight goes.
Most of the time.
Except when your partner drops his sword or loses the tie.
Fairy stories. Neither of those entirely plausible things has ever happened.
You fight well, Banishers.
As do you.
If I didn't, I'd be dead.
If you're truly serious about becoming a Banisher, I may have a contact in Boston who could help. Her name is Elizabeth Grey. You should find her, if she wants to be found, at the Green Dragon, not half a mile from the wharf. Tell her I sent you. When you meet her, please tell her she is now the best female Banisher in the land.
She's interesting. I'd do some reading if I were you. Might help you make a good impression. Here, this book served me well. It'll serve you too.
I shall treasure it. Thank you. Thank you both so much.
Take care, Helen.
Any last advice for a young-ish apprentice before you go?
Love life. Even when you lack the stomach for it.
Perhaps we'll meet again.
God willing, we shall.
Back to Pennington to give him the news of Helen's passing.
It's such a good lie, it's almost true. Elizabeth's still in Boston?
You know Elizabeth. She loves a bit of culture. I'm told Boston has many taverns.
I'd assumed she was dead.
Most people assume she's dead. She likes it that way.
She and Helen are chalk and cheddar.
Yep. They're gonna have so much fun. sneaky spectre nearby. I'd advise a summoning ritual.
Present yourself!
Call on me.
I'll get you eventually.
Run, Red! Where do you think you're going? You shouldn't stay in there. Come back here!
There's more of them.
Running away, are we?
Giving it all you've got.
Run, Red! Put out that light. Going to attack. This isn't over yet. Watch out. Spectre possession.
Yeah.